Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. My name's Eric Pate, and welcome back. I know it's been a while since I've done this. I'm sorry, I had some time in I was been busy with a lot of stuff lately and whatnot, so I am gonna bring this back. I'm gonna try my best to once a week make an episode, and here, starting today, this will be very, even though it's only small, and that's why I'm on my door, because my door's metal, and this is magnetic. But from now on, we're going to be using a whiteboard for our episodes, because there's a few things that we do have to discuss, and I think drawing it out better than the way we did it with the cursor on my computer. I think I can have a better idea of explaining things doing it this way. But for the sake of me going through, for the sake of the podcast and whatnot, if you guys want me to, I would have the actual race results printed off and just read it off from you from a piece of paper, because we are gonna need this. And then on the whiteboard, what I'm going to do is have the top two from both stages, or when we get to Charlotte, 3, and then the top 10 from the race. Actually, let's do top 3 from the stages, and then we'll do the top 10 from the race. And then later on, if you guys want to, I would have the actual race results in the top 10 from both stages printed off, and we'll still use the whiteboard for the top 10. Just in case your word drive happens to be one of them. At the beginning of each video, real quick, before I show you each of the topics, what I'm going to do is, the day I make these episodes, first thing I'm going to write on the whiteboard for the day is what is going to be discussed today, what is going to be there's definitely going to be 6 topics of discussion, at minimum, is what the goal is. I'm going to have them written out here. You can see the topics that we will be discussing. I know results are not really topics, but the points are not really topics of discussions, but we can still say it's a little bit like that. Alright, so let's go ahead and real quick and go through the topics of discussion for today's episode. So we're going to look at the top 10 from the 2 series, Xfinity in Cup, because, actually, did we have trucks this weekend? Oh yes, we did. So trucks, Xfinity, and Cup, we're going to look at the result. We're going to get the top 10 and point from both series. For the results, we will get that figured out. We'll get the points and results figured out. If there's a way I could try to do it all on one whiteboard, instead of me just have to erase it twice just to get the top 10. Same thing with points. Actually, we'll look at the points. We'll look at a controversy. And another cool thing with the controversy, actually, you guys will see later on. If you did not watch my NASCAR video I made the other day regarding all my NASCAR gear, you know it has some toy cars that are NASCAR diecast. And we will discuss more on that later on why the diecast can actually be important for this series. I'm going to discuss on how exactly I make my picks. There are 2 ways I do it. I'll explain more towards the end. And then ultimately, my picks. By the way, the picks will be Cup Series only. So, letting you know, if you're like, oh, where's your picks for Xfinity and trucks? Picks will be for Cup Series only. Alright, let's go ahead and get into topic number 1, the top 10 results in stages. Alright, so topic of number 1 of discussion, like I just mentioned, is the race results. Okay, sorry, this took me a second. I had to go online and get the race results. But for you guys, it took a couple seconds. For me, it took like 20 minutes. As I had to go look up the race results from the 3 races this weekend. For the stages, I just wrote the car numbers, but I do have a cheat sheet, which I should probably go ahead and grab. Because I might get these confused, because a couple of these car numbers we will see in 2 series. Okay, So yeah, let's still go ahead and start off with the Cup side of things, even though that was the last race we had this weekend. Josh Berry got his first career win, first time ever in Vegas history, and first time ever for the Wood brothers winning in Las Vegas. Daniel Suarez was second, Ryan Preece third, fourth was William Byron, fifth Ross Chastain, sixth Austin Cindric, seventh Alex Bowman, eighth AJ Allmendinger, ninth Kyle Larson, 10th was Chase Elliott. The top three in stage one were Austin Cindric won the first stage, Alex Bowman was second, and third was Chase Elliott. Stage two were Kyle Larson winning the second stage, William Byron second, and Ross Chastain was third. The fastest lap of the race. Now, I forgot to mention something just now. Fastest lap of the race for now on will get one playoff point. Well, not playoff point. One championship point effective at the beginning of the 2025 season. For Las Vegas, that title will go to Tyler Reddick. His fastest lap was recorded at 29.194 seconds. The Xfinity Series, the defending series champion Justin Allgaier won the race. Eric Pate finishing second. Third was Jesse Love. Fourth, Austin Hill. Fifth, Sam Mayer. Sixth, Brendan Jones. Seventh, Ryan Sieg. Eighth was Harrison Burton. Ninth, Connor Zilisch. 10th was Sheldon Creed. Stage one was top three were Eric Almirola, Justin Allgaier, and Connor Zilisch. Stage two was Justin Allgaier, Eric Almirola, and Carson Kvapil. Surprisingly, I expected I had to look it up to try to figure out who was the fastest lap, but the fastest lap went to Connor Zilisch, surprisingly. On a road course, I would expect this, but not on an oval. And his time was 30.266 seconds. And, I'll explain more in just a second. When we talk about top 10s and points, if we see any driver who has gotten a Xfinity fastest lap, I'll put a star next to it, so then we can explain more. On the Truck Series side of things, our top 10 consists of this. Corey Heim, first, Grant Finger, second, third, Tanner Gray, fourth, Ty Majeski, fifth, Lane Riggs, sixth, Stuart Friesen, seventh, Rajah Caruth, eighth, Chandler Smith, ninth, Matt Crafton, 10th was Tyler Ankrum. Stage one was Ty Majeski, Tyler Ankrum, and Connor Day in stage one. Stage two was... Okay, I was looking at Xfinity again. Let's go back. Let's look at trucks. Stage two was Tyler Ankrum, Chandler Smith, and Stuart Friesen. And the Xfinity fastest lap of the race went to Ty Majeski, defending Truck Series champion. And now it's time for the next part. Let's look at those points. And then, if we had somebody who got the Xfinity fastest lap at all, I will put a star next to him. That's how we're gonna. And then when we do talk about the race results, if anybody, I didn't do it this week, but effective for now on now, by the time I'm saying this, the Xfinity fastest lap of the race will have a star next to the driver that got the Xfinity fastest lap of the race, if they finish in the top 10. But I'll be right back with what the points currently look like as of week 5, heading into week 6. Alright, so guys can see it kinda here too. So, real quick, I meant to do Xfinity in the middle and trucks on bottom, because normally what I do when it comes to points and whatnot, if we're gonna do it this way, which I think I might just do the race results this way as well. It would be easier for me to write. I'm gonna do the full first name and then first initial. I should have done that in the first place. Anyway, not to be off topic much longer. So, why is the trucks in the middle now, Xfinity on bottom? Is because when I went to go do the the Xfinity portion, I accidentally grabbed the red marker. But I figured, no, since I grabbed red marker, yeah, then I accidentally clicked the Truck Series tab immediately after I grabbed the red marker. I'm like, no, let's just go ahead and do that since we're already on the page. Because like I said, the order we're going to try to do it in every time is Cups, Xfinity Trucks from top to bottom. Or if we're doing sideways, Cup, Xfinity Trucks. But like I said, when I grabbed the red marker, I did also accidentally clicked on the Truck Series, so I just went ahead and did them. If you see a times whatever, times 1, times 2, times 3, you know. If you see times whatever, that means they have won that many times this year. That specific driver went to victory lane that many times so far in 2025. Not total in their career, because if we're talking total in their career, William Byron will be like times 14, and Christopher Bell will be times 12. Yeah, times 12, that sounds right. Alright, anyway, enough chit chat. Anyway, William Byron has 207 points. This is going into the Homestead weekend. With 1 win, Christopher Bell has 178 points with 3 wins. Byron won the Daytona 500, and Bell won Atlanta, Coda, Phoenix. Tyler Reddick has 159 points. I put a star next to him. I meant to do that because he did have an Xfinity fastest lap this year. Chase Elliott has 159 points. Alex Bowman has 152 points. All 400 drivers in top 6. Mikhail Larson 152. Ryan Blaney 143 points. Joey Logano 136 points. The defending champion. Chris Buescher 133 points. And Ross Chastain 128 points. Let's go ahead and go down Truck Series. We got Ty Majeski with 128 points. Corey Heim 123 points with wins at Daytona in Vegas. Kyle Busch in between them. By the way, like we just discussed in the last portion, Josh Berry was our only other race winner. Brandon Finger 120 points. Chandler Smith 120 points. I gave the tiebreaker to Brandon Finger. I just did it the way the computer had it, and the computer had it Brandon Finger first. And then Chandler Smith 120, Stuart Friesen 107, Ben Rhodes 95, Tyler Ankrum 87, Giovanni, I can't say his last name, so I'll just call him Giovanni R with 86 points, Daniel Hemrick with 86 points, and Tanner Gray with, I did not write down the points, be right back, 77 points. On the Xfinity side of things now, luckily, Okay. All 5 races this year have been won by one of the top 10 drivers. So, I'm not going to say with just 1 win because I just said that. So instead, I'm just going to say the track they got that checkered flag at. Justin Allgaier with 200 points with his win from Las Vegas this past weekend. Jesse Love with 1 win at Daytona to kick off the season. Sam Mayer, 170 points. Austin Hill, 160 points. With his Atlanta win on the season. Sammy Smith with 156 points. I'm surprised he's up here this high. Honestly, he shouldn't even be in the top 10. Hell, I'm surprised they're giving him points in the first place because he's a part-timer. Eric Almirola with 151 points with his win in Phoenix. Sheldon Creed, 144 points. Taylor Gray, 137 points. Connor Zillage, 133 points with the win in Coda. And Ryan Sieg, 133 points. Now, this is where this whiteboard can come in handy, besides me showing you this stuff. Let's take a look. We're going to discuss the controversy of the week, and we're going to be using the whiteboard. I might put some words on the whiteboard, but to show you guys what happened. Okay? Be right back. Okay, so I think it would be better for me to demonstrate what happened. Just a quick demonstration. I can remember the exact orders these cars were on pit row. So I dug out I only have 5 of these cars, 5 of the next gen cars. So it would just be easier. So I just dug them out, and I think it would be easier for me to explain along with it. Now, for the sake of this video, I do know for a fact that this car did pit in another pit box. That was a controversy. Let me explain. So, imagine we'll say this board is about another 2 to 3 feet long. Okay? Christopher Bell's pit box is right here where my finger is. Okay? He did his service, tires changed, but I realized when he's about right here, but just say there was too many cars around. Would you say that? Actually, I just realized that I should probably have the 5 there with pretending this is a 5 pit box. So they just told Bell to get into a pit box. So we'll say Kyle Larson's pulling out of his. So Bell just decided to go pull into the 19s because to me it looked like it was the first available one he could get to. Now, real quick. I think the exact tire changer that tightened the lug nut on this 19, on this 20, is currently sitting out for the Homestead race this weekend and Martinsville because their driver lug nut fell off on this car. So, but for example, I'm saying the 20. Now, he did get a penalty for pitting outside the box. It would have been a lot worse. He would have been sent to the back. No, not sent to the back. He would have been held for 2 laps, and 2 of his crew members would have gotten suspended. And instead of Joe Gibbs suspending 2 people for 2 weeks, he would have to suspend 4. But like I said, this was a smart move by Christopher Bell. Everyone is saying it was a wrong move. If you think it's a wrong move, you know, Bell kind of. I think if the race was about 10 more laps longer, or we had another caution, Bell probably would have gotten a top 5, if not a top 10, a top 5, if we had another caution. But it would have been a lot worse if Bell had to be held for 2 laps. Now, next part of the video. Alright, so I do my best recreation of the Homestead Miami Speedway. Every week we'll be talking about the different racing lanes that we can use at the tracks we are currently headed to, except for the road courses, because road courses will be probably a little harder to explain because you can have one racing line in one corner, next corner you can have a different, yada yada yada. So especially if you have those corners where they're just like you immediately go to another. Wow, in NASCAR you immediately go into the corners like somewhere next corner somewhere in here. Very smart. Anyway, so I'm gonna talk about the different racing lines. Blue, orange, and green will be the 3 colors we're gonna be using today. So racing line number 1. Now, there's 3 different good racing lines you can use here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Obviously, at most tracks, what you want to do is like run against the fence and then immediately come down. So, I'll go ahead and draw out what I'm talking about. So, let's say you're racing down the front stretch. Okay? So, again, blue will be racing line number 1. Actually, we'll use the bottom. So, and then you just stay on the bottom. Like, you can race the bottom the whole way around. I've seen it work for some drivers where they just race the bottom whole way around, and it usually works. The next racing line you can use, I've used this actually to win so far my only race I have ever won at Homestead Miami Speedway. And I use this line to try to get around like other cars and whatnot. Hey, Junior. Can you go away, please? I love you, but I'll play with you in a minute, okay? Daddy just needs to explain something real quick to his followers. Racing line number 2 is the middle. So again, you're racing on the front straightaway. And then you basically just stay in the middle. Now, I kind of did a combination. I will draw with another color here in a second on what I did. What I did in my in a race I have won at the Homestead Miami Speedway. What I did with my sole win 5 years ago at Homestead. It hasn't worked since, but again, this was only a video game. And then I just, or you could just keep the middle the whole way around. Actually, the back one, the stretch one, is a little bit more, yeah, there we go. Yeah. So, that's racing line number 2 you can use. These are the, like I said, I've seen all 3 of these lines work. Usually, though, 90% of the time what will happen is that the line is the line to be preferred on the bottom at the beginning of the race, and then you slowly migrate to the 3rd racing line, which we're talking about now, which is basically, go lay down, Junior. Sorry, my cat. So racing line number 3 is, again, we'll start on the front stretch. You race down the front stretch. Now, drivers have practically hugged the fence. Drivers like Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick especially, because in both of his championship runs, 2018 and 2019, that's what he did, was he ran against the fence and then raced basically the high side the whole way around. Now, drivers like Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick, they somehow know that, like, if they start using that line, as early as possible, this does not mean to go outside the track, but we'll just say, for the sake of this video, but like most drivers would usually race against and then go down to the low line. This is what most drivers would do. And this is probably, now this is not ideal. Now, this is what I did in my Homestead win. Was I was basically the second from on the straightaways. The red line is what I did. What I do is on the straightaways, I race between the 2nd and 3rd line, and then all of a sudden I cut down and race around the bottom lane, and then back to the 2nd and 3rd lane on the straightaway, back. And then when I go into the corner, back to basically on the bottom, then back to the lane I use. That's what I did in my one Homestead win. This is not recommended. With Homestead, I would say you have to pick a line early. And usually, guys like Tyler Reddick and Kyle Larson can start using the green line, which is the top line, as early as possible. Now, I will show you guys, I'll show you guys the bullet points I use to make my picks for the weekend, for each cup race. Alright, so for the last 2 topics of discussion, I decided to combine them together since they both kind of, well, even though the race results in standings kind of blend in together, because race results can kind of determine standings too, but anyway, it's how I make my picks, and then I decided to write my picks. Again, my picks are Cup Series only. We can get away with writing their first and last names regarding the picks. Every week when we get to this section, I am going to have a reminder up on how I make my picks on the top part, and then on the bottom part, who my picks are. So there's a combination of 3 things. Before too long, there's going to be a 4th thing. Luckily, I have a website. I go on a website that combines 2 of those things, so that makes my job a little bit easier. Foxsports.com combines the first 2 things, which is what are the betting odds for this race and favorites. Now, 90% of the time, the betting odds and favorites are going to be the same. You might get those where they're not, but Fox Sports will combine to both of them. And then the third thing I look at is to help me decide is I take a look at the results from the race last year and trying to think, hey, maybe they could do better this year, and vice versa. So what I do is I take the 10 of the betting odds and favorites, and then the 5 highest average between the results from last year and in the betting odds and the favorites. But for too long, no, there will be more math involved. I would say mid-April, whenever the 9th race of the season is, Junior shot it. Anyway, so and then I just think of 2 guys that I have a feeling that could pull off an upset. So the top 5 guys, the top 5 favorites for this week. What I ended up with, I don't actually do any math. I take a look at the results in betting odds and favorites. Now, like I said, Fox Sports combines both of them. Has both of them on the same page. And I got the same 5 for both betting odds and favorites. And then Denny Hamlin, and then drivers who I know that has had a good record at this track. People are going to want to keep an eye on them. So, all right. Anyway, so and then like I said, I look at the results. Usually, I'm going to have like the winner of the race last year in the results because they're probably, as a pick, as more than likely they are going to be a favorite. Anyway, so I chose Kyle Larson for my first pick. Fox Sports thinks that Kyle Larson has the best chance to get his first win of the year this weekend, and I have a feeling that's going to happen too. I mean, Kyle Larson already has one contender vote from this race, so he's probably going to get his second. Tyler Reddick, I feel like last time Tyler Reddick got his first Homestead win, very next season he got his second Homestead win. And imagine Kyle Larson. Well, I don't know if it's a Cup Series only thing. I'm pretty sure it's a Cup Series only thing. But Tyler Reddick already has got a contender boat in October. I have a feeling he's going to get himself another contender boat. Because that is the trophy at Homestead, is a boat. And then, I don't know why Blaney is up there and has been up there lately. And last 2 seasons, he's actually been so close to getting that contender boat. He actually was literally, seriously, 1 corner away from getting it, and he got passed by Tyler Reddick. Christopher Bell, the hottest driver of the season, and we're going to Homestead, and he's pretty dang good at Homestead. So, I would say I would not be shocked if Christopher Bell goes ahead and gets his 4th win of the year, and another contender boat. And then Denny Hamlin has quite a few. I don't know when they started handing out boats, but if they started handing out boats before 2013, I don't remember what season they started handing out boats, but I know 2014 on, they started handing them out. And I'm pretty sure they probably started handing them out beforehand. And Denny Hamlin already has a couple of them, and he could possibly get himself another boat. And then, which means that I have a feeling Denny Hamlin, I have a feeling that Hamlin's going to get his first win of the year at Homestead. I think this track, or maybe his 2 hometown tracks, which we will be hitting here in just the next couple of weeks, are both of his hometown tracks. I don't know if we're hitting Richmond at the next weekend, or are we hitting it beginning of April? I couldn't remember. I have to look at the schedule. And then my 2 upsetters, Daniel Suarez has been on pretty strong, and I do think he's going to win himself a race. I don't think it's going to be this weekend, but he could win. And then I feel like Alex Bowman hasn't really been in contention, and then again, in a lot of his wins, he hasn't really been in contention. I mean, his first 2 wins are the only 2 wins I can think of to where he was actually a player all day, and then it just all of a sudden showed up at the end of the day. I mean, his 2020 Auto Club win for Alex Bowman. Bowman was base competition was Blaney, and Blaney blew a tire. But otherwise than that, Bowman was basically out front all day long in Auto Club. And then but his 6 other wins, his every other win he has gotten since, it's because of somebody else's misfortune, or all of a sudden, or it came down to a late restart, and he just happened to be on the front row and he got a better jump. So that's why I'm putting him on dark horse. I don't think he's quite a championship material yet. He's the only Hendrick driver I am sleeping on. The other 3 Hendrick guys, I would say watch out for those 3. But, alright. So that does it for the podcast. Checker flags in the air. Thanks for watching.